Welcome back to Wayno Reacts. Today we're going to be breaking down the first episode of Paramount Plus's Halo series. Welcome back, I'm Wayno, and unless you've been living under a rock for the last 20-something years, you would know Halo has been one of the most popular video games on the market since the first edition dropped in 2001. So it's no surprise Paramount Plus decided to pick up the IP, which has now already been renewed for a second season. And now that the season premiere has dropped, we're going to break it down. Our hero, Master Chief, is a super soldier from the Spartan II program and is seen as humanity's last hope in the war against the Covenant. Now Chief, or John 117, was abducted as a child and underwent intense training and even gene augmentation to become the armored soldier we all see today. Now the Covenant seemed to be Chief's main adversary in this series, and the Covenant is actually a group of different life forms band together by their singular religion. The Covenant worships a highly advanced and intelligent race called the Forerunners, and they're more than happy to wage war on anyone that they feel encroaches on their religious beliefs. In the series, we see the Covenant land near a cave containing Forerunner technology via a phantom dropship. Now, the Covenant views Forerunner technology as sacred artifacts, and protecting these artifacts are a huge part of their religion. This leads the Covenant back to the Rebel base, and unfortunately for all but one of them, things get messy. Mom spaghetti! As I mentioned before, the Covenant doesn't take lightly to anyone encroaching on their religion, so this is, however, the perfect opportunity for Master Chief and his Silver team to drop in and kick some Covenant butt. The Spartan team makes pretty short work of the Covenant elites and returns to the cave where the Forerunner artifact is at. Now, Master Chief, after touching the artifact, has visions which are kind of up for debate, but it appears to be visions of his childhood. Now, touching the artifact and seeing these visions seems to have interrupted Master Chief's programming and his willingness to take orders. No! This is about when one of the Covenant elites sprints out of the cave and escapes on a Banshee. Now, the elite makes his way to High Charity, which is one of the Covenant's mobile battle stations. Now, the information is forwarded to Mercy, which is one of the Covenant's 3 high prophets who basically govern everything the Covenant do. Mercy meets with a humanoid named Maki, which is referred to as a reclaimer, so I'm assuming that Maki will help the Covenant reclaim all the Forerunner artifacts and activate them, given that humanity are the only ones that can actually activate the Forerunner artifacts, not the Covenant. Damn! Now, after hearing what happened, Maki says she wants to talk to Master Chief, which I'm sure will be really fun to watch later in the series. Now later we meet Dr. Catherine Halsey, who created the Spartan II program and the armor you see the Spartans wearing. At one point in the series we see Halsey looking at a clone of herself in a capsule. This clone will soon become Cortana, who is an AI living in the back of Chief's helmet. Now to do this, Halsey extracts the brain from her clone and attaches it to AI software. So Cortana is actually Halsey's brain, but in a curvy Cortana body. We also meet Miranda Keyes, who is Halsey's daughter, and Captain Jacob Keyes, who is Miranda's father. Now, as Chief jumps onto a Pelican and heads back to the station, he realizes that the UNSC has decided to terminate Quan Ha, and he's not having it. Master Chief ends up revealing himself to Quan Ha, removing his helmet, and eventually at the end of the episode speeds away with her on a Pelican. Overall, this episode was a solid start to the Halo series in my opinion. There were definitely some hiccups as far as the CGI goes. Some of the Spartans jumping or throwing their weapons down. The elites not looking as good as they could. Definitely some improvement to be made there. And I did have to remind myself a few times watching this that I'm not watching the same Master Chief that's in the games necessarily. This is a totally alternate storyline that doesn't follow the main storyline in the games. So Chief removing his helmet or doing things I didn't think the original Master Chief would do in the games was something I had to get used to. All that aside, I thought the music was really good. The sound effects were great. Hearing the Chief's shields go down and come back up. Seeing the HUD view in a lot of different ways, and the fighting wasn't terrible either. This is the first episode, so I'm sure these things are going to get a lot better. All in all, I think the series had a pretty solid start, and I'm looking forward to see where the story goes. But what did you guys think? Did you like the first episode of the new Halo series? Did you think the special effects were up to par? Do you like the story so far? Let me know in the comments down below. Like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe for more videos. And as always, I'll catch you back here for more reaction action.
Tell me about the children. Dr. Halsey.
You already know everything.
You kidnapped them.
Children's minds are more easily accepting of indoctrination. Their bodies more adaptable to augmentation. The result was the ultimate soldier. And because of our success, when the Covenant invaded, we were ready.
Dr. Halsey, you're bending history for your own favor, and you know it. You developed the Spartans to crush human rebellion, not to fight the Covenant.
When one human world after another fell, when my Spartans were all that stood between humanity and extinction, nobody was concerned about why they were originally built.
So you feel in the end your choices were justified?
My work saved the human race.
Do you think the Spartans' lack of basic humanity helped?
What are you after? The others before you were naval intelligence, but you're something else.
Records show Spartans routinely exhibited mildly sociopathic tendencies, difficulty with socialization, and verbalization.
The records show efficient behavior operating in hazardous situations. I supplied the tools to maintain that efficiency.
Do you believe the Master Chief succeeded because he was, at his core, broken?
What does John have to do with this? You want to replace him?
The Master Chief is dead.
His file reads missing in action.
Catherine. Spartans never die.
Your mistake is seeing Spartans as military hardware. My Spartans are humanity's next step. Our destiny as a species. Do not underestimate them. But most of all, do not underestimate him.